in regards of the Roman Catholics. They are liars and deceivers and wolves in sheep clothing. They are following the Antichrist of the number 666, who is known as the Pope or Holy Father or His Holiness. Bullshit titles of the Antichrist, the Pope, that unholy figure, and his most smelliness. In any case, when you talk to Roman Catholics, they tend to lie. They tend to deceive you. They tend to not want to tell you what they actually believe, because if they actually told you what they actually were about, you would find out that this is nothing to do with Christianity. So they will lie, they will deceive, and they will keep, the truth about this filthy religion away from you. And they will try to, go around things and all that. You really need to understand what they actually believe and then question them about it. And, when you show them that they go into another ball game and, always trying to deflect, these, bullshit doctrines of theirs. But, as more people wake up and more exposure of it, it's nice to see. Hopefully, more people will wake up to the truth. You see, the Roman Catholics worship a cookie. Yes, they worship a dry wafer god, as they say. They believe the cookie becomes the real body, flesh, sinews, and soul of Jesus Christ. And they are thereby allowed to worship this cookie. Now, not only that, besides they put it in the sun cookie, the solar deity in a sun monstrance, in regards to sun rays, and walk around it, and it's set on an altar for worship and all the rest of the bullshit, whoring with Satan. Yes, the Roman Catholic churches are pretty much the synagogues of Satan. It is whorehouses, worshipping Satan. Now, not only in regards to the cookie, which we have just explained, they also think to sacrifice Yeshua or Jesus all over again for the dead and the living. Again and again and again, a continual, perpetual sacrifice in the Roman Catholic whorehouses. So, so you see there's a lot of things going on. Now, that's only one thing pretty much, one area of subject that is very, very problematic. Now, of course, another is in regards of Mariolatry, in regards of praying to Mary. And they have this idea that, Yeshua is a man, right? And Mary is the mother, right? She's a woman. And it's just so much, easier to go to a woman than a man. And then she can go to Yeshua. And of course, calling her Queen of Heaven and Everlasting Virgin and all this bullshit. And, oh my. So, besides that, of course, in regards of all the Mary bullshit and lighting candles in front of idols looking like so-called Mary, so-called Mary, and bowing before images and idols and cookies and kneeling and on their floor, on their stomach in front of, for example, the Antichrist in the Vatican. And it's all pagan bullshit and worship of the devil. Now, besides that, of course, we have other things, but overall, it's just filthy, And they have so many false doctrines. I don't care what a so-called church council says and this and that. These clever men, right? Slick, clever men that, that goes to a church council and figure out here and there, an ecumenical council, and then cursing all the Protestants, right? How many curses do I have? I don't know, but a lot, by this system. Did Yeshua ever say that we should curse anyone? Nope, he didn't say anything about cursing anyone. He said, bless those that, persecute you and so forward, right? I can't remember the exact wording, but, do good to those that persecute you and pray for those that, I know it's, something of that kind. I'm missing the words at the moment in regards to the exact word. Go back to Yeshua and read that in regards to. But anyway, he didn't say we should curse anyone. Now, of course, Paulus in the New Testament curses twice at least in regards of these, in regards of another gospel. I do wonder what that gospel could be. Maybe it's actually the true gospel going out in the name of Yeshua that actually turns people to the scriptures and the law and not away from it in regards of fallacy of Roman bullshit, That might be the thing that, I don't know, the Judaizers, right? Oh, those bad Judaizers. It's very bad Judaizing when the master is actually a Jew. Okay, I don't get it. I don't get it. They will call you a Judaizer, a legalist, an extremist, a radical, a fundamentalist, a Jew, and so forward as it goes, to try to, discount you, But they'll keep on hanging on to their Roman traditions, their Roman pagan bullshit. You have Christ Mass. What is the Christ Mass? Go, just listen to the word, right? Use your ear and hear. Christ Mass. That is in regards to the blasphemy of the Roman Catholic Mass of that cookie Jesus, okay? And of course, in Denmark, we call it Yule, which goes back to the word Jølner, which goes back to Odin, okay? Yeah, it's pagan bullshit. Every direction you take it, it's just pagan bullshit. The new year of the year? Oh, the new year. You really think it's the new year in the winter? The Roman pagan new year in regards of the pagan god Janus, a two-headed, pagan god, have to be kidding me. No, the biblical new year is in spring. It's not in the winter. So we have Christ Mass, we have, which is in regards to the sun birth, in regards of the solar deity, Mithra, Sol Invictus, and many other names and all that. And so this is the winter solstice in regards of the sun birth, in regards of the pagans celebrating winter solstice, Okay, so... And then, of course, we have, in regards to Sunday, Sunday is the first day of the week. It's not the last day of the week, Now, 7 days in a week, and Sunday is the first day of the week. And actually, and Sunday is what? It's in regards to the venerated sun god, Mithra, Sol Invictus, And, other names. Sol Invictus, as I understand it, is just an ecumenical, name for, all the sun worshippers out there and all that. So, and Mithra would be one of them. In any case, so yeah, Constantine was actually the Pontifex Maximus. And what is Pontifex Maximus? You see, he's the high pagan priest of sun worship, the solar deity Sol Invictus, Mithra, Sol Invictus. So Constantine apparently, was a pagan. Oh, but he said he was a Christian. Yeah. Well, his fruit doesn't really look like it's, true. So Sunday, so they think to change Sunday into, the Roman Catholic Church thinks they have the authority to change the laws of Jehovah. And they think Sunday is their mark to show that they have the authority to change God's laws. Oh, what a bullshit. This demonic system is really outrageous. And of course, it fulfills prophecy in regards to the little Roman horn that thinks to change times and laws, who have done that. And if it's only thinking to change times and laws, it sounds like the law of Jehovah is still standing, doesn't it? Yeah, it sounds really like it is actually must still be valid. Huh? Yeah, until heaven, it's easier for the heavens and the earth to disappear than one jot or one tittle of the law, right? Hey, I still see the heavens out there. Oh, the earth is still there out there. Oh, I guess the law must still be valid then. The law of Jehovah, not the law of the Antichrist. Yeah, because it's easier for those to disappear than the law to. So, yeah, anyway. Any case, so we have all this, solar word bullshit and pagan fallacy of the Roman Catholics, and you have indulgences as well. That's interesting to see some of the old information about indulgences. You could actually pay for in advance in regards of indulgences. Very smart. There's a great story about that, by the way, that I read in regards of getting indulgences in regards of stealing, or robbery, and stealing money and all that. So he bought this indulgences, and the priest that he had bought this, or monk or whatever, in regards of going around and selling these. I can't remember all the details of the story. It's some time since I read it. And the thing is, this guy goes up and robs this monk or this priest, I think it was a priest. But anyway, so, selling these indulgences, so he robs him, he takes all his money and all of that, and, so they're standing in front of the judge in regards of, this priest and this robber. And the guy that has just robbed this priest of money, he takes the piece of paper that he got from buying the indulgence, the thing, indulgence thing and all that, go up to the guy and gives it to him, and the judge reads it, and he discounts the case. I wonder if the guy was allowed to actually run away with the money, and to keep the money. In any case, it's just stupid. This is a money making machine. Roman Catholicism has made it into a money making machine. And again, it has an outer surface of Christianity. It's wolves in sheep clothing. It's a bullshit system, and you really have to be careful because these people are very, very slick. And they have their ways of shutting our mouth. Now, if that doesn't work, of course, they can always murder us, but, we should fear God more than we should fear the devil, right? So, yeah. And we should speak up, because if we actually love people, we should speak up about the truth and not just keep silent about it. Yeah, so be careful, very, very careful. The Jesuits, as far as I know, the Jesuits are the ones working in regards to the ecumenical movement. Now, what is the ecumenical movement? It's joining and rounding all the people around one man, one office, and one seat in regards of the papacy. That's the beast of the number 666. Every person in that dynasty is the man of the number 666. Every Protestant knew it. It's like, and they will come, this is, something I'm making up and all that. Every single Protestant knew this in the past. I'm not making anything up. Every single Protestant who protested this beast of the number 666 in the hall, writing it, that would be Rome, knew about these things, So the hall is writing on the authority of the beast. So, and the beast of the number 666 is in regards of the papacy. That is the dynasty. Every single man in that position represents the beast of the number 666, or the man of the number 666. So, and they will be very slick and try to distort the truth and all that, twist the truth and all that. They do it again and again and again, and you really begin to find out who it really is the enemy of truth in this world, and who is the most dangerous organization on this earth. who is the biggest cult and most dangerous cult in the world. Roman Catholicism, Roman Universalism, Romanism. Anyway, and if you want to have proof of these things, and I think it would actually be a pretty good idea to research it for yourself, you can go back and read Protestant material, one book after another. It's not a secret that for the Protestants, it's like second nature to them. They know. But you can go to the book of Daniel, as the Protestants did, and the book of Revelation, and re-listen to these books, and re-listen to these books, and they will open up as a beautiful flower, and the smell of truth will come forward, and you will begin to see things in this world that you did not perceive before. Now, it may take some years to get to that point, but, you have to start one place or another, right? And then just stand for truth as best to your ability. So there's a lot of other things in regards to Roman Catholicism. If you want to see some of the curses they put on people, you can go and read the document of Trent. Now, I haven't read it to the full extent, but for example, a guy like Keith Green wrote The Catholic Chronicles by Keith Green. And they also have been censored, to try to censor these. But you can still get them out there on the internet. So they stopped selling them and didn't want people to print them and all that. That's not in the spirit of Keith Green, that's for sure. He wanted the truth out. He was a believer in Yeshua. He was I guess you could call him a radical, right? Extremist and all that. Now, he did still have, we all have issues, right? So you can always find issues. And you have to be aware that we all have mistakes, The question is, are we going in the right direction, Because we all have been deceived. And we're still, the devil's workers are still out there putting a lot of lies and deceptions out there. So there's a chance that one gets, gets off gets on something that is, and then you find out, this is no good. I was following a wrong path here, and then you turn around and get on the right track again. Well, there is a lot of decoys out there, And of course, if you don't know who Yeshua is, that's a good thing to know as well, because when you know who Yeshua is, then you can reject all the other versions. And the two most important versions to know is in regards to the Roman Catholic cookie Jesus. That's Roman Catholicism is the greatest deception on this earth, for this is the greatest enemy for Christians. So when you know who Yeshua actually is, and you know who the Antichrist is, when you know that, it's a lot harder for Satan to deceive you and lead you astray, Another version that is very popular in the world is in regards to Mohammedanism. They are following a fake version of Yeshua as well, that is only a prophet. He didn't die for the sins of the world, and thereby he didn't rise from the grave. He wasn't God in the flesh, They're rejecting all these things, following a false prophet. He's a stinking wolf. Muhammad was a stinking wolf. You can smell him miles away. And yet 1.8 billion people are following after this guy, looking at him as the most perfect example to follow after. You have to be kidding me. You really need to repent and go back to the real version of Yeshua. But the Mohammedans will come, we also believe in Yeshua. No. You believe in a fake, fictive version of your imagination. That's what you believe in. You're following a false prophet coming nearly 600 years, from the event, and discounting all the sources from the first century. Yeah, great. That sounds like a really bad idea. And it is. Anyway, but of course, people are so stubborn and they love their lies and deception, so they just hang on to it, right? It's like same thing with the Roman Catholics. So that's in regards of Mohammedanism, and Mohammedanism is really, It should be easy to discount that, for any Christian. Any Christian knowing some Bible and all that should be able to discount Mohammedanism. And now I've just, put out some help at least for that. And you can just ask any Mohammedan, do you believe in Jesus? And they might say yes. They might probably say yes, yeah. So, do you believe he's the Son of God? And they probably will say no, because that's what they believe. They don't believe that God has a son. So actually the Shahada or something like that they say when you become a Mohammedan and all that, rejects that God has a son. So anyway, so of course stay far away from the Mohammedan pagan religion, It's just incredible. Oh, some blue lights and all that. And in regards to Romanism, that's the thing that you really, really have to be aware of. And the more you learn about Roman Catholicism, the more filthy it gets, It's just an ever-ending filth of, more and more filth, You just think, okay, begin to learn more and more, and it's like, and you just find out how rotten this system is. And, yeah. So Christmas, yeah, it's pagan. Easter is pagan. Halloween is pagan. Sunday, as in regards of the sun god, Sol Invictus, in regards of, yeah, that's apparently why all the professed Christians are running to churches on the first day of the week. Because, well, why do as God told in the Bible in regards to the seventh day, which is one of the 10 commandments, right? Let's not do how Yeshua did it, right? When he had as his custom to go to the synagogue, right? No, let's choose the day of the venerated sun god Sol Invictus. It's incredible. Let's see if we can close this. There's a lot of air running out. Maybe that helped a little. It's getting colder, and this is an old building, so a lot of air is getting through. So I guess that's, so be aware of wolves in sheep clothing. That was what our master warned us about. Read the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation and open it up. Begin to open it up. Begin to understand these keys that are found. To open it up, and it will open up little by little, and you will begin to see what is actually going on in the world. Because it tells you what is going on in the world, and it teaches you that, anyway, it's like a guiding thing to guide you in the truth. And of course, if you don't know who Yeshua is, read the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, those 4 books about the gospel, and figure out who Yeshua is. If you read the Bible, you should come to the understanding that Yeshua is God in the flesh, That Yeshua is the Son of God and God on earth. He was walking in regards to, he's not on earth at the moment, in regards to the Spirit, of course, but, he entered the world, he walked among his own, that was God in the flesh, and he died for the sins of the world, and he rose again 3 days later. He didn't, as far as I can see, he didn't die on Friday. But that's, the argument in regards to Friday, right? We know the Sabbath is on Saturday. Wait, did you just say the Sabbath is on Saturday? Oh, I just heard you say that. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, they tend to forget very quickly, right? And then keep on keeping Sunday, right? Then they forget about, Saturday again. So anyway, because the next day after the Friday is the Sabbath, so it must be on Friday. Yeah, maybe people should actually just start reading the beginning of the Bible and figure out that there actually is some high Sabbaths which can lay on any day of the week, and which day would that be in regards to the next day after Yeshua is executed? Oh, it's actually one of the high days, It's in regards of Passover, the first day of unleavened bread. Yeah. But they don't tell you that, do they? No, they just come with, an excuse and this and that. Yeah, he has to be executed on a Friday. And then you say, well, 3 days and 3 nights, you don't get that out of, oh, well, but the Jews, they count a little different. And they always have excuses and bullshit feeding you, just puking all that garbage, It's incredible, Yeah, just promoting all these traditions instead of standing on biblical truth. And we have had 500 years to correct things, and we're still keeping these pagan doctrines and keeping Sunday and thinking that the cookie is Jesus. Yeah, the Lutheran Church still believes the cookie Jesus and all that. You have to be kidding me. Of course, they don't sacrifice the cookie because Martin Luther had acknowledged that was the greatest abomination and all that, and blasphemy. But he was still having issues with cookie Jesus. And there was a lot of conflict with Zwingli. He had a debate with Zwingli. The only thing they couldn't agree on was the cookie Jesus. Melanchthon didn't believe in the cookie Jesus. Andreas Karlstadt did not believe in the cookie Jesus, and so forward. But Martin Luther, weirdly enough, hang on to that. There was a lot of issues with Martin Luther and all that, that's for sure. But, overall, just... we have to be aware that this is the beginning of the Reformation. So these people have been growing up with Roman Catholicism, and it can't be hard to release all these things that you have grown up with. It's like evolution. 82% of the Danish people believe in evolution. We're the second nation in the world that believes in pagan satanic evolution. Wow, I can still feel. It's still can feel cold air coming through. Wow. Oh, it's like, it's nice. It's nice on the fingers, I guess, but it's not so good, of course, in regards of if you want to keep the heat up in here. But anyway, it's old building, so that's how it is. Anyway, so we have to remember when you look back at the Protestants, they had their issues, everybody we all have issues. The question is, are we pulling rope from Satan, That's the question, Are we standing against Satan and pulling rope from Satan? That's the question. Because we all have issues, and that's why we need the ransom of Yeshua who paid it on the tree. But that is not to say the law is abolished, Yeshua was keeping the law to perfection. He was the perfect, spotless, sinless Passover lamb. He was the living bread from the heavens that was broken and his wine poured out for the sins of the world once and for all. Not in a perpetual, continual sacrifice in the Roman Catholic whorehouses, Anyway, they made a business out of it. Oh yeah, they have the doctrine of purgatory as well. Bullshit doctrine as well. But it gives a lot of money, right? Because, pay a little for getting grandma less time in purgatory, right? It's not even biblical. Give me a break. And praying to the dead so-called saints and all. Oh, my. Some of these people that this institution have sainted, you have to be kidding me. But of course, this institution are persecuting the saints, That's really, she's strengthened by the blood of the saints, and the little horn thinks to change times and laws. And so forward, Just go read the book of Daniel and book of Revelation if you want to get more understanding on who the Antichrist is. There's so many bullshitters out there saying, oh, it's this direction, that direction, whatever, the Antichrist is there, whatever. No. The Antichrist has always been the papacy. The papacy, the seat and office of the papacy, every single man. And these, children of the devil, in regards to Roman papists, will try to distort every single truth that is promoted, The Jesuits out there, these are the special soldiers of Satan that was created to, and actually they were called the Knights of Mary, as I understand in the beginning, that was the first name. But they're called the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits. And we actually have a school in Copenhagen in regards of teaching, in regards to Loyola, Ignatius Loyola, that's the first shadow of the Antichrist, the Black Pope, the general in regards to these special soldiers that was created to get the Protestants back to the mother of harlots in regards to Rome, and the Antichrist under the wings of the Antichrist again. Has that been a success? Well, I think they are closing, really close to actually succeeding in their goal. And but we don't know anything anymore. We don't even know who the Jesuits are. We don't have an idea of who the enemy actually is, where the devil actually working from and all that. And we have no clue, absolutely no clue. And we don't have ears to hear or eyes to see anymore. And we don't read our Bibles either. And we don't care about the truth either. It's incredible. Yeah, we're running to the lies and the deceptions, but we don't want the truth, Anyway, we're selling our children over to the devil, and the world is gathering around the Antichrist. And you people don't care. You people don't care. At all. At all. Why, You just keep doing and hanging on to these pagan Roman traditions. A pagan Roman Julian Gregorian, satanic sun calendar, which has nothing to do with the Bible. You keep hanging on to it all, Sunday, you keep hanging on to the things with your nails and all that, yeah. And you attack those that tells you what is actually, see, they attack all the, the so-called Jewish festivals, which is actually just the festivals of Jehovah. There's nothing new under the sun. We have the Romanizers and we have the Judaizers. You see, like a man like John Chrysostom in the late 4th century is a Romanizer. Let's see what he says. This is in regards to John Chrysostom against the Jews. And that's 8 homilies. It's a pretty good amount of papers. Another very serious illness calls for any cure my words can bring. An illness which has become implanted in the body of the church. We must first root this ailment out and then take thought for matters outside. We must first cure our own and then be concerned for others who are strangers. What is this disease? What could this disease be that is inside the church? What could it be? John Chrysostom in the late 4th century. The festivals of the pitiful and miserable Jews are soon to march upon us one after the other, and in quick succession, the Feast of Trumpets, the Feast of Tabernacles, the fast. There are many. Did you get that? Many in our ranks who say they think as we do. Yet some of these are going to watch the festivals, and others will join the Jews in keeping their feast and observing their fast. I wish to drive this perverse custom from the church right now. You know, the problem is these festivals are actually found in the Bible, These are the festivals of Jehovah that Yeshua kept for himself, That's the guy that we are told to follow after, right? Our master, right? That we are disciples under, The same festivals that the first, believers actually kept. And of course, the Asia Minor as well. And he goes on, but now the Jewish festivals are close by and at the very door. If I should fail to cure those who are sick with the Judaizing disease, I am afraid that because of their ill-suited association and deep ignorance, some Christians may partake in the Jews' transgressions. Once they have done so, I fear my homilies on these transgressions will be in vain. For if they hear no word from me today, they will then join the Jews in their fast. Once they have committed this sin, it will be useless for me to apply this remedy. I don't know in regards to the fast, in regards of plural, but I know that the day of, the festival of trumpet and the festival of Sukkot are festivals written in the Bible, So understand it, the festival, we have the appointed times of atonement. And that would be a day of fasting, for example, in regards of inflicting yourself. I don't know if you need to fast, but it is a day of infliction, So it's to, for example, rip up your clothing and put ashes on your face, or put a sackcloth on, and so forth. That's some of the ways in the past that they showed that they were, I think a good actually getting a sack on would be a pretty good fulfilling that, and anyway, whatever, that's some things that one could do, to show that this is a day of sadness, right, and not of joy, but anyway, that's and fasting would be including, that would be one of the things to inflict yourself. But anyway, but not only does he attack the Jewish festivals, but he's promoting Christ Mass. He's a Romanizer. And I think there was others that he also, but, we begin to see him promoting Christ Mass in the late 4th century. Christ Mass was never kept before in the 4th century. Well, they wanted the Mithras to come into the church, who kept the winter solstice on the 25th December. And also was keeping Sunday, that was their so-called holy day of the, of the week and all that. But anyway, so Christ Mass, just the word should itself, give problems for any Christian, because the Mass is just, came about in the 4th century. It came about in the 4th century. And you see John Chrysostom begin to promote and saying, hey, Rome knew in regards of when he was born and all that. And you can see there's conflicts in regards to these things. That apparently there's some that, this is something new. Yeah, it is. Christians haven't been keeping this for 300 years, over 300 years, pretty much. Well, 300, around 300 years. I think it's a little more than 300 years before it actually. And then they begin to promote it, and attack the, in the late 4th century. There are still many in John Chrysostom's that's apparently are still celebrating the Jewish festivals. Even after the Council of Nicaea, we still see people hanging on to the truth and to the Bible. And still there are some in our days that are also hanging on to the truth, but it's really hard to find in Denmark, that if you talk about the Antichrist, you get unpopular. If you talk about the festivals or the Sabbath, you get unpopular. It seems like I can't really find any congregation where I'm not unpopular in some sense, I found a church in Denmark that actually kept some of the festivals found in the Bible. And then I talked about the Antichrist, and I never heard from them again, So, guess that's apparently you have to, it's just whatever. So it's really it's really it's really bad in this nation. We really need to wake up and take things seriously, and I think we actually should be ashamed, not only in Denmark but all over the Western world, because we have had 500 years to read the Bible. 500 years, we all have a copy of the Bible, right, in the home, or most people have a copy of the Bible at home, right, sitting there and collecting dust, right, and like. We have had 500 years to correct things. And this is where we are in our days. We should be utterly ashamed. And now it's just going downhill so quickly in our days. It's incredible. It's just incredible. We don't even need to go to the meeting house anymore on the Sabbath because we have the scriptures at home, right? In the past, it wasn't so easy to, to just make a copy, or they didn't have books like, you couldn't just print out a book, or go down and buy a book like, you had to use a long time to actually write out a book, so where did you go to listen to the word of God? Well, the synagogue, the meeting house, yeah. So anyway, and yet we're still keeping these pagan traditions. I don't understand why, Anyway, I think I should stop now. May Jehovah bless you, and Yeshua be a most precious pearl, and the Spirit of truth be in us all. Amen. Have a good one, all of you, and stand close to the truth, grow in the truth, and stand as best as possible, as your possible, do your best on standing on truth. We all have issues here and there. We have, but let's do the best that we can to actually stand for the truth and stand against the Antichrist and the devil, because we're selling our children to the devil. To the snake, to the dragon, to the liar, to the deceiver, to the murderer. It's just incredible. And we're teaching our children vanity, and empty air. Like, Christ, Satan claus, right? Easter bunnies, tooth fairy, gnomes, and so forward. Yeah, it's just incredible. In 1973 in Denmark was the first year that they made the 7th day into the 6th day and the first day into the last day. Of course, it's utter bullshit, because, man-made laws or decrees don't trump the word of God in regards of his law and what he has established. But, many people and most people in Denmark believe Sunday is the last day of the week. That was when we entered the Roman European Union, Anyway, have a good one. I'll stop this now. I'm just kidding. It's just incredible. Don't you want truth, Don't you people want truth, Doesn't seem so.